And when I'm really just being objective and I'm looking at landscape hip hop, Future is definitely bigger than Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? In the landscape of hip hop, I'm gonna say no, because Jay-Z has longevity in what he's accomplished. He hasn't usurped Jay-Z on the grand scheme of things. But that's like when somebody's saying, okay, let's talk about the best NBA players right now in the NBA, right? And a nigga tell you, yo, Giannis Antetokounmpo is better than LeBron James. He's bigger than LeBron James right now. And he's like, no, that's LeBron. He hasn't won what LeBron has. He did what LeBron did. Yo, Giannis and the Bucks, if they played the Lakers and both teams fully healthy, Giannis is going crazy on them niggas. It is what it is. Like, you can still be LeBron, and Giannis is that nigga right now. And that is the comparison that I'm going to make to the future Jay-Z for the NBA fans, or when niggas say, yo, Mahomes right now is better than Aaron Rodgers. Oh, how can he hadn't did thing Aaron Rodgers? He hadn't did things Tom Brady did. How can you say Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady? Yo, you can see it for yourself. Like, this nigga's not like what he's doing right now. I'm not saying he's accomplished what Jay-Z's accomplished, but right now, if you gotta take somebody, you're gonna take Mahomes. Like, right now, if you got somebody you're gonna take Future. If you got a young artist who's like, damn, I gotta make a hit record, you're gonna take Future. Because you're gonna say, oh, Jay-Z because of the hype. We're not talking about the hype. Future, every time, I always say this, all the young artists who are coming out, they always have one of their first 3 singles after they sign a deal is getting a Future feature. What 50 Cent is pretty much saying is that something that we already know. We always say this. J Doug, I say this all the time. Future has classic records that have never charted, that have never hit Billboard, never hit any of these things that are charted, that are anthems, classic records that everybody in hip hop and music know. If this nigga want to do a verse, even when he does a concert, he could do a concert, a whole bunch of throwaway tracks that never charted and still sell out. And you could probably count on one hand how many rappers in the history of hip hop can actually go do that. And that alone is the point that out of all points 50 Cent is smart enough to articulate to usurp Future over Hove. The point that he took and extracted was what I just said, and that was that Future has a catalog of uncharted hits that can beat the majority of niggas that you would put ahead of him, past, present, and future, including Jay-Z. That's something even Jay-Z cannot say he has. And I want J Doug and I want anybody in this chat to have a conversation and debate me or debate the point 50 Cent made about what he said about Future being way bigger than Jay-Z in the streets. And I agree. And I want to see if we have anybody who wants to disagree and have that conversation tonight. Do we have the number in the live chat? Drop the link if we can.
Jay-Z, I mean, Future is bigger music. I mean, Future is relevant in music right now, as far as that. But I feel like Future is stuck in the streets. You got to think, Future wouldn't make no money if it wasn't for the streets. He can't go really corporate like Jay-Z was able to go when he was 40 years old. Future is like 39 years old, bro, pushing 40, and still have to be getting in video with your latest Instagram rapper to stay hot musically, because that's all you can really do.
No.
And that's all the leverage you can pull is your street leverage. I don't think he have really no like.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're saying his, because of his age, you're saying he is relegated
To the street.
to the streets.
Yes, because you got to think Jay-Z wanted to leave the streets alone when he turned 40. He had Beyonce, so his business was along the lines of getting married. He was doing business with the Nets. He was doing business with different other corporations, Douce, Champagne. Like, yo, he was laying a different thing out than what Future doing. I'd rather do what Jay-Z did in his 40s than what it looked like Future.
You know why that's the weakest argument, and this is why it's easy to debate Hove in certain things, because the problem, and salute to Mate Premium Denim with the $4.99. Thank you, dog. That is definitely gonna hit me with the 4 for $4 when I leave here with the junior bacon cheeseburger with the the 4-piece nugget, the fry, and the frosty, or the orange high C. So we're definitely going to 4 for $4 when we leave here. Salute. Thank you so much for $4.99. But what I'm saying is, the reason why I'm going to pick through your argument and the straw man argument is because when you bring up Hove, What you just said is basically like Hove has 100% up on all sliders, and we're not talking about any of the business moves. Beyonce, what you did was disagree with me and take it directly out of music when you compared Hove, and then when you brought Future, you viewed his relevance within up and coming hip hop and relevant rappers as a negative instead of a plus and a strong point as to why he's still relevant, as to why he's still accessible, and to why he's still the hottest rapper and can maintain his heat because he's able to integrate with the youth despite the age gap, something that Jay-Z neither did not choose to do or was unwilling to do when niggas like Cameron and a group of other up and coming MCs in his own camp said he was suppressing and hating on.
Well, I don't
Niggas
want
like Joe Button, when you could have hopped on a Pump It Up remix, Future would have hopped on a Pump It Up remix like he did with Boss Richie and everybody else who got a remix. If Drake ain't hopping on first, Future hopping on Blown Up. Future would have hopped on a Pump It Up remix, but Jay-Z said, nah, overcharged him and just rapped on it and made it this. That's why Jay-Z's not hot, because Jay-Z has alienated himself from everybody else. And I understand what you're saying, because he had to do that to separate himself to be in a business sense, which is a strong point. But that still is going to be a ding when niggas say you can't come back to the community, just like you watch Big Gibbs interviews and like Big Gibbs talking about him and Drake and certain people, where when you don't make yourself accessible to the same people that you eat off of, you no longer can get the same love in the community. On top of that, when you bring up a Future, he not only has the number one songs, number one album of last year, he is still on the number one features. Like he's bigger in the streets and not even bringing none of that stuff up. What 50 Cent is saying, Future so hot. I'm not accounting anything you're seeing on the charts. We're not even counting things you can actually count. Let's talk about the street anthems, what you hear in the car, what I hear in the car when my Savages come on, and 50 Cent know all the niggas in the club, all the balls and scammers grabbing their homies and rapping my Savages word for word. They know damn well I ain't never hit Hot 97. When March Madness come on and he know damn well he never heard that song on the radio, but the whole club rapping that word for word. That's what he's talking about. He knows there's no other rapper in hip hop, especially who's still relevant, who has mixtape hits that drop in the club, and niggas know they mixtape hits bigger than most artists' biggest songs. Niggas know more Future runoffs and throwaways than most artists' biggest songs. That's a fact, and these artists know that.
Well, I would say just because Future stuff is more like copy and paste, like remedial rap. So it's like it's not no hard stuff to remember. We get drunk off lean. We get drunk. That easy little shit. I feel like Jay-Z was doing something a little more complex. You know what I mean? And I believe like Future is doing a dumbed down version of rap that everybody can gravitate towards. It's easy to remember. And I feel like, yeah, you're going to be successful with that formula versus Jay-Z trying to come out and drop more complex shit that's not really for the streets because, at a certain point, like I said, he outgrew the streets.
I feel like
but I agree. I agree.
No. But what I'm saying too, I feel like you can't really compare Jay-Z and Future right now because it's like they're at two totally different points in their lives to where I don't want Jay-Z to be relevant in the streets the way Future is. And that is to me a bad. I'm gonna say this too to land my plane, right? Because what I like to do on this show sometimes is we'll bring up topics and we'll play devil's advocate, go back and forth, but I'll still tie a bow up in to say this. I feel like that was a bad faith argument by 50 Cent to even make that comparison because there's no way you can view Jay-Z in a winnable point in that comparison because Jay-Z isn't even rapping and he's not even dropping any street albums or talking about anything street since what we call Magna Carta, and he barely touched on that. So it's like you can't try to expect Jay-Z to be relevant as a hottest rapper. That's like saying, yo, Drake is hotter than Jay-Z right now in music. Of course, Drake is hotter than Jay-Z in music. He's actively dropping music. Of course, Future is hotter than Hove in the streets. Future's dropping music. Now, if Hove dropped a album full of 92 bricks, what was that song he had with Pusha T?
Neck and Wrist Don't Lie.
No, not that one. Drug Dealers Anonymous.
Yeah.
You drop that, or like you said, Neck and Wrist, you give us a 10, 11 track full of that and drop those the way Nas has dropped the King's Disease, like you give us 4 albums of Coke bars in a year and a half, then yeah, we can really have that conversation of who's more relevant in the streets. And I think if Jay-Z gave niggas some King's Disease series of just like 92 brick bars, I think Hove, because we just heard him on God Did, I think Hove can give niggas premium content, 4 hours worth of content of straight bricks.
Now, I'll be honest with you, bro. Now that I think about it, I feel like Jay-Z, if he wanted to give Future a rap for his money, he could, bro, because you got to think, when Jay-Z do jump on a verse, people are dissecting what Jay-Z saying. People is not just partying to what Jay-Z saying. People is listening. Who name did he drop? Or who he talking about? Nobody not doing that with Future shit. Jay-Z
What do you
just
mean? Yeah,
don't
they are.
drop.
Yeah, they are.